In this video, we're going to discuss the Settings and Help section within CemTrax. First, let's start with the settings. The first view in Settings is the Cemetery view. In this area, we can input the address and contact information for our cemetery. Since many cemeteries have an office that is at a separate location, we also have an Office tab to store this information. You can also attach pictures or other images of your cemetery if you'd like. The next view is Categories. And these categories correlate directly with the drop-down menus found throughout CemTrax. Here's where we can add to those lists, edit different names, or delete ones we no longer need. You will not be able to delete something from your list if you are still using it somewhere in the program. So let's go through an example. We'll click on Religions. In here, we have 2 religions listed so far in our program. Let's go ahead and add a new one. And I will intentionally misspell this. Save it. Now I've realized my spelling error, so I'll click on that and edit it. And then when I save it, it will replace it. I can make an edit to anything on the list. It does not matter if it's being used by the program or not. Now let's attempt to delete a religion, and this is a religion that's already being used by the program. So if I click on it and do delete, it will not allow me to do that because it's being used. And there's my warning message. However, if I delete the one I just created, it will allow it to go away. Moving on to the Preference view. There are several things we can change here. So I'm going to go ahead to Edit. And our default space cost, if we always have a $300 cost for spaces, I can assign that here. So instead of entering it every time I sell a space, $300 will come up automatically for me. Please keep in mind this is not going to change other space costs you have already entered. If I want to change my member label from member, I can change it to resident. So perhaps a village or town would use this for their cemetery. We also can set a backup warning and how often we want that backup warning to go off. I have it set at 3 days. And we also can see when my last backup date was. I can't do a backup while I'm in edit mode, so I'd have to save it. And now the button becomes available to do a backup. If you remember, CemTrax is technically a Microsoft Access database file. The Backup Now button will save a copy of the data portion of that file to your computer in a place that you choose. Please remember to do backups often and to create multiple backups in multiple locations. I always recommend that you have a backup on your local computer, but also off-site or in a cloud location, or both. We can also activate and change the names of our custom tracking fields. So I'm going to do that now. When I go into Edit, I can turn off some of the custom fields that I have activated, and I can also change the name. So let's change Custom 1 to GPS coordinates. So I'm using custom fields 1 and 2. Now I have deactivated fields 3 through 5. It's okay if you have information stored in those fields. You will no longer be able to see it, but it has not been deleted from the program. I can also change my other amounts. Amount 1 and Amount 2. You can obviously describe these however you wish. Once I save this, let's go back to spaces and see the changes I've made. So now we can see our custom fields on the right are the new label for GPS coordinates, and custom field 2 still shows up, but custom fields 3, 4, and 5 are no longer visible. Again, they're still in the program, we just can't see them. Also, our other amounts have changed to amount 1 and amount 2. If I go in to edit this space, if I change it to sold, I can see that the default sold amount is now $300. I'm going to cancel this example and go back to our settings. Moving on to the users view, I can create new users for within CemTrax, so I can assign whatever name and password I wish initially. And each user can have different permissions set up. At least one user must be listed as an administrator. This is because there must be at least one user who has access to every feature within CemTrax and also has the ability to set up other users. If you select someone as an administrator, they will have full access to every area of the program. Other users may have full access to certain areas of the program or read-only access to those areas. As stated, read-only means they can view the information, but they cannot change it. As with most programs, you can change your password. You cannot change the password of another user, however. As a technical support note, if you were to lose your password, you can call technical support and I can reset it. You may also attach documents to the cemetery level of CemTrax. This would be a great place to put in a digital map for your organization or other documents that pertain to the cemetery as a whole. Moving on to the help section, we have several different views. The first is the About view, which tells you your version number, your client number, which would be assigned to you when you purchase your license, as well as your product key and when your technical support expires. You can also access your manual in the manual view. Once I click the button, it will open a PDF of the manual. You must have a default application for viewing and opening PDFs on your computer. So once I've clicked the button, I can see the manual for CemTrax. The next view is for technical support, and there are instructions for how to contact me for technical support. Please note that technical support cannot be given unless you have an active and paid for technical support agreement. Bundled within CemTrax is a screen share utility, so when you call for technical support, if you'd like me to see your computer, I can do that through this utility. Once you click the button to launch the screen share utility, and after you've given Windows permission to run that utility by clicking yes on the screen that pops up, as we can see in the example off to the right, this window will pop up giving you a 9-digit number. This 9-digit number must be given to me so I can connect to your computer. Once I'm connected to your computer with the screen share utility, I will both be able to see your computer and use the mouse and keyboard to direct your computer's actions. Once the technical support session is completed, I will close the screen share utility and no longer be able to modify anything on your computer. Moving on to the next view, we can see the product key for this license of CemTrax. This is where you can enter a new product key if you need to. One example of this is when you extend your technical support coverage for another year, you will be given another product key to enter here. When you restart CemTrax, the new expiration date for your technical support will be reflected in CemTrax. The next view shows contact information. And the final view, called EULA, stands for End User License Agreement, and this is the agreement you agreed to when you bought your license of CemTrax. I want to thank you for watching these overview videos for CemTrax, and I truly appreciate your time and consideration of the CemTrax software solution. Please feel free to contact me with any questions you might have. The email address is seen on your screen, CemTrax@EndressReportingSolutions.com. Thanks again.